live, but you guys know the drill by now. We gotta let the stream breathe for just a second here. Make sure that everything is nice and stable all across the YouTube platform. Alrighty, it looks like we are good. Country to this Denver Broncos Syndicate pregame show of the 5-5 Denver Broncos versus the 6-4 Atlanta Falcons, coming at you live from the Howard Field at Mile High. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before we officially get started, guys, if you could just do me a big favor and smash that like button, I would really appreciate it. And also subscribe to the channel if you have yet to do so. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. We are just 5 subscribers away from 4,900, guys. We can get there honestly by the end of this stream. So if you guys have yet to subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it. It's free, it's easy, and it only takes a second to do. So both of these teams are coming off of tough losses last week. The Denver Broncos losing in heartbreaking fashion on that blocked field goal to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Falcons lost also by a field goal last in that game. Atlanta did, but ultimately Young Koo ended up missing multiple kicks. Kirk Cousins threw an interception at the end, and Atlanta ended up losing the game. The Falcons are in pretty good shape right now in the NFC South as they hold the 2-game advantage over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who they swept this year. So this game for them is not exactly a must-win game, but for the Denver Broncos, well, technically it's not really a must-win game either because it's the Broncos' final NFC game. They can technically afford to drop this one. If the Broncos win today, and if the Colts are able to, if the Jets are able to come back against the Colts, and if the Bengals lose tonight, then Denver will have a 2-game advantage over that 7th seed in the AFC, which would be absolutely huge. It would be the first trip to the playoffs for the Denver Broncos since the 2015 season when they went to the Super Bowl, and obviously it would be a huge momentum swing for this team heading into the offseason when they've got cap space, they've got the ability to really turn this team into a legit championship contender next year, and to be able to go into the offseason with that momentum of making the playoffs would be absolutely huge. We got Kawhi translator KTS in the house saying, "Oi, good to see you, good to see you." Already got a few people streaming on in here, which is definitely good to see. So as far as the matchup for the Denver Broncos, the Atlanta Falcons have a high-flying offense led by Kirk Cousins. Their run game is an elite 1-2. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, I'm live right now. I'm gonna go inside the concourse right now, and I'll come back out later because I'm doing a live show right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm up there. I'll go ahead and go up inside, and we're gonna go to the other side of the stadium. All right, Broncos country. So as far as matchup is concerned for the Denver Broncos in this game, the Atlanta Falcons come into this game with a high-flying offense, one of the top offenses in the entire league. But defensively, they've got some problems. Their pass rush is virtually non-existent. They've only got 9 sacks on the year. They're towards the bottom of the NFL in pressures, which does bode well for the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix and company. It should allow them to keep Bo Nix upright through the majority of the game, and it should allow them to be able to pretty much generate whatever they want through the air. The question becomes, will the Falcons be able to bottle up the Denver Broncos run game? Audric Estime, I figure that he's going to get the lion's share of the carries today. We've got I Love Paris in the house asking, will Estime have 50 yards rushing? I hope so. I think that the Broncos at this point are leaning full-blown into Audric Estime as the top dog at running back. And because of that, I do think that he is going to be able to get over 50 yards today. But will he be able to secure the football? That's the ultimate question. If he can hold on to the ball, then I think Audric Estime has the chance to really run away with this RB1 job for the rest of this season. But if Audric Estime continues to put the ball on the carpet, then I do think that we could see Javonte Williams back into the lineup here. We got Maverick in the house saying Mathman has entered the chat. Let's go. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, we're headed to the opposite side of the stadium right now, so please bear with me while we do that. We're still just a little bit under an hour away from kickoff. So for the Broncos, defensively, last week against Kansas City, they were awesome. I thought that they did a really good job. They went back to their aggressive, single high man coverage tendencies, a lot more of their blitzing tendencies. And it definitely boded a lot better for them than the game against the Baltimore Ravens. In this game, although the Falcons do have a lot of weapons that can beat man coverage, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, he's a guy to really keep an eye on in this game. I do think that Denver will stick with what they do best, and they will live by the sword and they will die by the sword. Go Broncos. Kirk Cousins is a guy who really struggled under pressure this year, and quite frankly, he's been like that throughout his entire career. If the Broncos are able to generate pressure on Kirk Cousins, make him uncomfortable, and especially generate pressure with a four-man rush, then that'll be huge. If the Broncos can win their one-on-one matchups up front with guys like Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, John Franklin Myers, Zach Allen on that line, then they can ultimately get Kirk Cousins off of this spot, make him uncomfortable, and that would bode huge for the Broncos in this game. So overall, guys, I do think the Denver Broncos match up well against what the Falcons do well, especially offensively for the Falcons, defensively for the Broncos. I think that Denver's single high man coverage, heavy blitzing scheme is going to bode very well, and I think it's going to lead to a lot of success. Yes, no Brandon Jones. That is huge. I'm wondering if we're going to see JL Skinner possibly get some playing time in place of Brandon Jones. That is very possible, because I do feel like Devon Key was a little bit of a liability out there against Baltimore. The Broncos are going to have to find somebody to step up and really find somebody that's going to be able to cover Kyle Pitts. I think their best bet at that right now is probably JL Skinner. So that's why I do think the Denver Broncos have a slight disadvantage in terms of their defense because of Brandon Jones not being out there. Obviously, not having your leading tackler is absolutely huge. But Devon Key, if he does have to play, I think he'll fare better than he did against Baltimore. But ultimately, I am hoping that we can see JL Skinner in this game. Why not PJ Locke? I thought PJ honestly kind of had some struggles last week. I think he's still kind of trying to figure out how to play with 1.5 hands, basically, with his hand all clubbed up and taped up. So, yeah, man, I think that is something that PJ Locke's trying to work through right now, and it hasn't exactly led to the best results. I think JL Skinner is the guy who's athletic enough, he's rangy enough, he'll be able to keep up with Kyle Pitts step for step in one-on-one coverage. So that's probably why I'm leaning more towards a JL Skinner for a guy like Kyle Pitts. Why is Greg Dulcich still on this team? You tell me. You tell me. He's on the inactive list every single week, so I don't know, man. You tell me. But until he's off of this team, then clearly the Broncos still have a long-term vision for him. I don't really understand it. We got DB in the house saying, let's get the win today, Gage, and lock up the 7th seed even more. Absolutely. I'm so sorry. Yeah, right now the game we're really keeping an eye on is that Jets-Colts game. Last I saw, the Colts had a 2-point lead, so that's a game that we're definitely going to keep an eye on. If the Denver Broncos win today, and if the Bengals lose and the Colts lose, then the Denver Broncos will still have a 2-game lead over the 7th seed. Colts losing, okay. Jets leading by 1. Let's go. Hopefully that score holds. Hopefully that score holds. All right, Broncos country, we're going to go ahead and dip out of here. Let me know what you think the score is going to be for this game. Let me know how you think this game is going to go. Let me know if you think the Denver Broncos are going to be able to get the victory over the Atlanta Falcons today. I had already predicted that the Denver Broncos were going to win 28-14. I'm going to hold with that prediction, but let me know your predictions in the comment section below, guys. I would love to hear from you. But obviously, if the Colts lose, that would be absolutely huge for Denver. We also need Cincinnati to lose to the Chargers, so unfortunately, we do have to be cheering for a division rival. What's going on, man?
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Let's go. Let's go. So unfortunately, yeah, we are going to have to be cheering for a division rival later on, but at the end of the day, it'll all be worth it if the Denver Broncos can find their way into the playoffs. We got Paris saying 24-10. Maverick says 31-23, going to be a high-scoring affair. Could be, man. Very well could be. We will see. All right, Broncos country, before we dip out of here, please be sure to leave a like on this stream as well as subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country, just like you and me. And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.